So before beginning, if they like this kind of content, what can people do?
Hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe. Check out my comment. It's a case of this about. It's all about me. It will give you amazing dreams and dinosaur pets.
Dinosaur pets? What kind of dinosaur pet?
Anytime you want.
Anytime you want. Wow. And have you checked out these pictures here? This is the deposition of the littlest umbrella.
Uh-huh. And she says, I don't want apple. And it's, how about this before?
How about this form? Yeah. And we have other pictures too. Do you like these?
And give you amazing dreams. Give you bunny rabbit pet.
Bunny rabbit pets. Wow. All right. More on that at the end of the video. Hey there. So today we are going to return with something that is spicy. This is a call out here. Nothing more. It is a call out. It's going to relate to some other things. And wow, this is some good stuff. Now this call out is happening with Stan Dolan. If you don't remember who this guy is, he was associated with an interrogatory. We saw interrogatory number 4 from Monica Rial. He was supposed to be the guy that backed up her story. The only thing was, he didn't. Not only did he not back up her story, he said, hey, this stuff, it didn't happen. I would remember it happening, and if that happened, I would not have invited people there. He has talked about a lot of things when he's come up, discussing a bunch of stuff too, and he started talking about one thing, including somebody that wasn't trustworthy. You see this in a 3-part statement that starts out on the 18th and then goes to the 19th. In Vic's depot, I was surprised to hear Jay Sean ask about one name other than mine and whether he thought they were truthful. Nearly knocked me off my seat. What would this person have to offer the case? What I do know about this person is they did not like Vic even before this case. Why, God only knows. Okay, now that Monica and Ron TCPA has been filed, I know now why this person's name was mentioned. This person has added their statement to the case. Man, they love to drop names, don't they? So it's a shot across the bow at Monica and Ron, but there's a shot at someone else here, an unnamed someone that we're not going to find out about, right? Only, yeah, we're going to find out. We see the shot here. What the heck? American Tail. American Tail. I wonder what that could be. You see people, up talking about American Tail here. What are they discussing? One of the persons they name dropped is now very peeved at them. Good job, American Tail. Good job. American Tail again. He says, somebody asks who's American Tail. Well, that's my way of naming this person without really giving out his name. His, huh? And then we get to who that person is really quickly. Here's the giveaway here. You were on staff for AWA and you did not say anything to me about this incident. Top that off, you did not bring it up to the AWA board, which could have easily voted me down on Vic's appearance. So when you became the owner of AWA in 2016, what you waited till 2019 to drop him from your guest lineup. Ooh, burn there. So we find out who the person is here. American Tail. Lord, see this stuff? It's getting good. You can actually see, go in, people are starting to guess at that. And then, yeah, you see the name come up. Huh. That person as a rat. Oh, Lord. Now, who is this person that they're talking about? If you didn't see the last video, you should check it out. But yeah, talking about this guy here. This guy that was included in a certain affidavit, that we found out also has a very interesting history to him. You can see this in front of you here. And you notice what he had a little problem with here. A credibility issue, false report of a crime. Now it actually ends up being something that's dismissed. But talk about the hit to reputation. Talk about a lot of time that ends up getting going back and forth. Talk about a case that actually has a lot more to be found out in it. Good stuff here. I mean, when you start going through that, really good stuff. Oh, man. I mean, this stuff, it just gets spicier and spicier and spicier. Now, not only that, but when you start looking through this, I mean, think about a few things that are mentioned in this. First of all, talks about a cosplayer and talks about this interaction there and someone being uncomfortable. Notes that it happened right outside of the Funimation booth. Now that's really interesting because Funimation once again gets bust by these people. You know, you're talking about a company out there that has a certain kick Vic starter talking about going after them. Yeah, you picked a good place to set down those roots because these folks, we got to listen. We got to believe them if we're thinking about it. And if we do, basically it says not only is that guy bad, but the same thing that's been said over and over again. The fact that Funimation, you turned a blind eye. You also see AWA mentioned over and over. And you see 4 years ago, you have complaints. Now this complaint, of course, again, if you go through this, and I would encourage you to do so, it essentially talks about a handler that would fly with Mignogna, would accompany him to different sets, was a die-hard supporter, and, well, decided to come to him and say, yeah, I don't want to be positioned with him anymore. Why? Well, we get innuendo there. We don't get a direct statement from that person. We get him saying, I believed that she was, and then I heard from someone else that. So we get those two statements in there. Later, we get other names involved in this, and it's really interesting to see a couple names. In fact, when I first went through and I was looking at certain items, I noticed this name here. I knew that name, but I couldn't place it. Then when I started thinking about it, I thought, oh yeah, that's the person who went after Hawaii Con so hard. They went after them and they tried to bury them. And so many people jumped right on that, right on the boycott because, hey, look at these statements out here. I can do whatever I want right out in the public and nobody can freaking stop me. It's amazing how these people, they lean on conventions and they lean on conventions. They attack and they attack and they attack. And that, it's supposedly, in some way, somehow, this stuff is acceptable because, now you see, this person, they go in, they talk about that, they talk about, hey, I believe that person. And because I believe that person and other people, well, you get the tandem here. You get the targeting. You get all of those descriptors because of those terrible folks. Not only that, you get the Resin Bull Rangers thrown under the bus because that is the normal way that some of these folks operate. Yeah. It's very telling. It's very telling indeed. Now, what's interesting, after you go past this, you can start looking to people that are associated with this person. I talked about that a little bit on live stream, but wouldn't it be something if you say found that people connected to this person? I don't know. They went out and they made long statements about that guy as well, talking about stuff that happened to them in the past, even though they didn't actually have a Vic story. They had another story, so you should believe other people's stories. Makes sense, right? I mean, you need to go through that narrative conclusion. You also, I mean, when you're looking at statements out there, you know, when they're talking about destroying credibility and on, hey, you know, when you think about that, you should think about destroying credibility because he talked to these YouTube defender and palled around with Ricada, basically, instead of telling him to quit, well, this one thing. Hey, let me tag Shane in. Let me tag in Greg here. And you notice who's right here in the comments too? Leah Rose, the person named in this paper. Huh. Interesting stuff there. Like I said, just interesting things that you find buried throughout this. And well, when you look at this, you combine it with the call-outs that you're seeing with that certain guy that again blew up another narrative. It makes you wonder what exactly transpired. And it is interesting what he says here at the end. Hey, when you became the AWA owner, you knew all of this stuff. How did you deal with it? Oh, well, you waited 3 years until basically there were all these people out in public. They had all of these things to say, and then you decided to act. Because you were right there and you decided to pull that proverbial trigger. Way to go, man. Way to go. It's interesting stuff, like I said, especially when you see people that know other people behind the scenes and they question their motivation. You don't just have the motivation of specific individuals, that are tied into this lawsuit, having them question, but you also have people like this guy here when we're talking about the owner of AWA question too. It tells you something as well. It tells you about how they look at certain folks out there and, well, getting a certain type of revenge. But beyond that, too, it tells you how they think about certain people in fandom. Hey, Resin Bull Rangers, you're not wanted. So remember that as well. And remember that doesn't take anything at all. If you want to go to a convention that's hosted by these folks, well, remember what might happen to you. Just in case, remember what might happen again. But it's interesting, like I say, seeing these people, getting to know them more and more, finding out who they are, when they have little bitty headshots like that, and Mickey Mignogna, he doesn't. He doesn't after all these years of all those statements. But anyhow, you tell me what you think. If you want to help out the channel again, well, check out the Case of the Littlest Umbrella and also other links in the description, depending on how you want to help out with that. You don't have to, but this is a way to basically, circumvent all of the things going on with these platforms. Case of the Littlest Umbrella has 2 comics associated with it. One message, defying gatekeepers. You see what gatekeepers look like, too. You get a good glimpse of them. All the time, you get a good glimpse of them. Also, you can check out our Etsy shop. Again, we have stuff like this. We have other items out there as well. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can check out and have fun with. Contests going on, too. Look at the pinned things out here on this channel. And also, if you're on social media, you can check that out on other platforms. Ending, I want to say leave your comments. I want to know what you think about this stuff. And also, agree, disagree. I appreciate you showing up. We'll be back doing it again soon. Thank you.